Hi everybody. You can tell I was new to writing when I decided to name a book something you can only see. So every time someone introduces me, I have to spell the title, which I never thought through. So I said, oh, people look at it on bookshelves, they'll see loss, and then now this happens. So yeah, it's LOSS. First, just thank you to Peg for having me, and I'm so thrilled to read with so many fabulous writers that I'm learning about more and more, reading bios and getting blown away that I get the chance to read with all of you. So thank you. Thrilled to be here in Sausalito. I've never been. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I'll keep this part of it short before I dive into a bit of story here. But I got into writing in a bit of a circuitous way. I originally loved stand-up comedy. And so I would write jokes, and you know, I'd watch Richard Pryor, and I'd write jokes about my ex-wife when I was 13 years old, and it was just way out of my realm. You know, I was trying to write like Rodney Dangerfield when I was 14 years old, and it just never really rang true. But it kind of was very much a start of writing things I loved and caring about something out of school that I kept to myself in a journal. And you know, I found myself at the happiest times of my life and the saddest times of my life going to this journal and writing down observations. And that ended up kind of forging its way into a more pure writing, and I started thinking, oh, for that I kind of need the blank page. And then fast forward to my senior year of college at Occidental, and I was very pleased to be in this creative writing class for the first time, and it was writing for the newspaper, and saw that I was so into the creative writing stuff that I stopped caring about every other class I was in, to the point where I had a jazz history paper and was like, oh, I'll just push that off, you know, last minute kind of thing. It was midnight and the paper was due at 8:30 in the morning. I said, probably time to get going here. And I ended up writing a story on Frank Sinatra's Pennies from Heaven, and just about the melody or something. I don't remember much of the paper. I got the paper back. Got a B on it, and Professor Pillich, a really nice man, said, thank you for the best laugh I've had in years. So that's odd, there was nothing funny in there. And I try to be funny, and it sometimes doesn't work, and then now I'm not trying to be funny, and it was funny. So I go through, and I realize that through the entire paper, I had spelled pennies, P-E-N-I-S. And so it was a very different kind of penny from heaven. And I was at that moment, I said, maybe I should stick with the creative writing. Maybe if I'm ignoring everything else and, you know, turning in papers without looking at them. So I kind of stuck with writing for a while and put it away and kept coming back to it. And, you know, later in life I had the chance to go to school for it and that kind of thing. So anyhow, this is the book, Los Angeles, that I'll be reading from. It's a collection of 15 short stories that are bound loosely by loss. Sometimes literal loss, sometimes loss of, you know, young romance going into a more sophisticated form of romance, or loss of innocence, things like that. I try to be very broad with a loss. And the locale is, you know, sometimes people are in LA or trying to get to LA. So I'm going to read here from Zorba's, a lighter piece. We drove through rain. Lisa put in one of her CDs. Ever since she learned she was pregnant, we listened to this classical stuff. Music with instruments only found in period piece movies, lutes and harps and mandolins. You couldn't sing along to it. I tried to air mandolin, to no avail. But it did soothe. Lisa claimed the CDs were good for the baby, that research had been done, that our kid would emerge with a good ear, something like that. Feeling already like a well-loved kid. My hand rested on the shifter. We were stuck in traffic. Lisa's hand found its place atop mine while her other hand rubbed her belly. We were headed to Lisa's baby shower. One of those nouveau showers where men were invited. Were men glad to be invited? Nobody cared. Nick, Lisa's voice cut through a loop. Do you have any new names? 1 month left and we still couldn't decide. We knew it was a boy. We weren't one of those we want to be surprised couples. I shook my head. Sorry, sweetie. I've been reading that book you gave me, but, well, I don't think you can call it reading, Nick, if you do it sitting on the job. 4 months. I hated them. Still, I'm looking over the names. It's crazy that we don't have a name. Are we unfit parents? No, we're just taking our time. There's still plenty of it. That's what we said months ago. What about Joshua? She asked. No. I turned the volume down. Why? What do you have against Joshua? I knew a Joshua in high school. He was an asshole. Don't swear in front of the baby, Nick. I apologize. To her, to the baby. Nick, do you know a shortcut or something? This traffic. We're going to be late for our own shower. I shifted into third. We made our way down a side street. I was going 35, but it felt real fast. We took a speed bump too fast, and I waited for the comment about hurting the baby that research had been done. It's biblical, Nick. Joshua. How can you hate a name that's biblical? I knew a guy, that's all. The Joshua I knew wasn't biblical. Just because the guy was an ASS. It was okay to spell curse words. But spelling took the punch out of them. I liked the words bastard and son of a bitch. They were too long to spell out. Would you name the baby Peter? I asked. H-E-L-L, no, she said. Exactly. I turned the music back up. Bach was getting frenetic, and I liked it. That's totally different, Nick. Peter's an X. You can't name the baby after an X. Everybody knows that. Why not? It's biblical. Apostolic, even. Lisa laughed. She grabbed my hand and placed it on her stomach. Her skin was tight and stretched. Her belly button had gone from an innie to an outie, and I clutched it. It felt like a raisin. The pregnancy was real. The first 3 months, Lisa called them a trimester, were hard to believe because she wasn't showing. She said she was pregnant, and people congratulated, but it didn't settle in. And then she packed on the pounds. It got the size of my Uncle Leroy's. The baby part still wasn't there for me, though, even after I'd read the books, even after I'd attended the breathing classes. Still no baby, just Uncle Leroy. We came to some orange cones. A man was out on the road holding a stop sign. He wore a slicker with galoshes and thought he was important. Lisa thought so too. Roll down your window, Nick, she said. He popped his head and his mustache was so thick it looked fake, and all I could do was stare. It twisted as he spoke. Congrats, he said to Lisa. I noticed your tummy. His mustache needed to be wrung out. Well, the man said, I'm going to be honest with y'all, this is a mess, a real mess. A few trees have fallen over and it looks like it's going to be a while. I reckon y'all back up and go another way. Again, congratulations, beautiful. He winked at Lisa. I put the window up, and his stash nearly got caught. What a strange man, I said, flirting right here in front of me. What happened to men who only did that stuff in secrecy? He was just being sweet, Lisa said. She pulled out her name book that was bookmarked with the most recent ultrasound. Men aren't sweet, I said. Lisa changed CDs. Handle. If someone ever stole our car, they would think Lisa and I had quite the taste. Rain pounded and quelled the music while Lisa made a discovery sound. What do you think of Kelly? Hate it. Really? Come on, she said. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those names, all the unisex ones, Alex, Drew, Tracy, Jamie. What about Frank? I asked. Do you like Frank? Frank? She said. Are you serious? Am I giving birth to a bridge player? Who did I marry? You just like Frank because of Sinatra. We had a good laugh. Most of the roads were closed now. Los Angeles just couldn't handle rain. People seemed baffled, the fauna bewildered. Wipers struggled to keep up. Telephone lines spun like jump ropes, and a branch lay killed in the middle of the road. Lisa yelled, "Watch out," she said. I pushed the brake pedal to the floor, and the tires screamed, and put my hand in front of my wife and kid, but our Honda still wiggled away. I think we popped a tire, I said to Lisa. Oh well, Lisa said. She was easy to be around when things weren't going well. At least we're all safe, she said, rubbing her belly. Damn Los Angeles. The trees can't even handle rain. There's a gas station, she said. I put on my hazard lights and wormed my way to the service station. I got out and walked the perimeter of the car. More than one was flat. Lisa rolled down her window. She knew. Really bad? She asked. Not really bad. It's just the spare won't be enough. Are we going to miss the shower? Why don't you call a friend and pick us up, I said. I didn't bring my phone. You know how afraid I am of cell phone radiation for the baby, the research? Okay. How about a payphone? I don't know anyone's number by heart. Lisa turned off the handle and delivered a few controlled puffs of air, just like the ones we learned about in Lamaze. I can't even remember the restaurant. Something Italian, I think. Marcello's, Matteo's, Mario's, Matucci's. Please, no more names. I can't do Italian ones. An attendant came rushing over. "Shit, man," he said. I thought Lisa was going to tell him something about swearing in front of the baby. "You hit something pretty good, huh?" He was wearing a poncho and water beads traced over the synthetic fabric. "That can't be fixed, right?" I said. "Nah, bro, we can't patch that up. Those are common tires. Let me see if we have them in stock." I got back into the car and clicked the music on. I knew I shouldn't be happy, but I was. Staring out the windshield, listening to Gregorian chants with my two favorite people. I didn't say this to Lisa. Every time I said romantic things, she thought I was mocking her, that I didn't mean it, that I didn't care about the baby. I pictured the baby shower and all those people holding baby clothes and blue balloons, men tapping their shoes and looking at their watches. I continued to stare out the window. Just me, Lisa, and my son, No Name.